William Dillon has spent 27 years in prison for a murder he did not commit. On November 14, 2008, Mr. Dillon was granted a new trial based on DNA evidence by the 18th Judicial Circuit Court in Brevard County, Florida. Dillon's case is also the most recent in a series of cases involving disgraced dog handler John Preston. The following clips are taken from a 1984 investigative report on 2020 by Geraldo Rivera, which exposed Preston as a fraud.
A supposed expert has been crisscrossing the country in recent years, convincing otherwise sober lawmen he had a wonder dog that could do things no dog had ever done. Detective Arthur Linville was agent in charge of the murder scene.
Preston and his colleague were saying that they were having difficulty in picking up a trail by virtue, according to them, of the scent having risen into the trees and collected there.
The scent of the murderer drifted into the trees.
That's exactly right. It's what they were saying. And they asked for and were provided with 2 crop dusters who were making passes with water to spray the Camp Scott area with water, according to Preston and his colleague, to have the moisture fall upon the trees and forcing the scent back down to the ground where they could then follow it.
Detective Linville couldn't believe what happened next.
They had one of the dogs in a boat in the middle of the pond with its head hanging over the edge of the boat, ostensibly sniffing the pond for a murder weapon at the bottom.
Sniffing the pond?
Yes.
I've never heard of a dog sniffing something through water.
Neither had I. As
you may have already guessed, police divers found nothing. To be absolutely sure that the woman was forced to walk all around the dump before she was murdered, McDonald sent the tracks found to the FBI crime lab. Surprise. They reported back that Preston was dead wrong. The tracks found did not match the shoes the victim was wearing. In fact, they had nothing at all to do with the crime. Did Preston have an explanation?
He says, my dog picked up her scent. I said, John, she wasn't walked. They killed her in the car, they took her and dumped her. None of those 4 Indian defendants walked her. He then says, well, it's obvious what happened. The winds caught the scent and blew them out over this area where my dog walked. And so it was probably the winds blowing the scent that caused it, but my dog still smelled the scent.
6 months after the murder, which is long past the period any reputable dog handler would even attempt, Preston went to work, later claiming that his dog had actually managed to find and follow the complicated escape route taken by the 4 defendants. It's 3 miles long and cuts through busy city streets where tens of thousands of other people had walked in the months since the crime.
No one has ever done what this man claims to do because it can't be done.
We asked him to show us how tracking dogs really work. 2 hours before, he had laid out a trail, placing an object at the end for the dog to find if he could.
That's it.
Every expert viewing these tapes has come to the same conclusion. The dog is not actually working. But you don't have to be an expert to see the dog is simply not interested. The animal is just walking around.
This dog does not look like he is even remotely trying to find scent.
If the dog was not following a scent, how did he track the escape route with such uncanny accuracy?
Well, I think that he had to have received the information from somebody who had access to the investigative reports.
After Preston failed a court-ordered test designed to see what his dogs could really do, a judge refused to allow his testimony in this case.
To the best of your knowledge, have you ever been wrong?
To my knowledge, no, I don't feel I've ever been wrong.
Listen, my dear, I have some really good news for you.
Oh, yeah?
We got the report from Reliagene, and you were excluded.
No, right.
To my knowledge, no, I don't feel I've ever been wrong.